Imagine being born into a world where every smile hides a dagger. This was the reality for James, the future King of England. His mother, Mary, Queen of Scots, was forced from her throne when he was just a baby. His father was murdered. From a young age, his tutors taught him one brutal lesson: trust no one. By age 8, he was a prodigy, fluent in Latin, Greek, and French. But for all his knowledge, he couldn't decipher who was a friend and who was a foe. He learned that a king survives not with a sword, but with suspicion. Unlike the warrior kings of his time, James found his power in books. He was a scholar, fascinated by theology and obsessed with the supernatural. He even wrote one of history's strangest royal texts, De Minologie, a detailed guide on how to hunt witches and demons. He genuinely believed that sorcerers had tried to assassinate him with dark magic, that invisible forces were at war all around him, and that God himself had chosen him to rule. When Queen Elizabeth I died without an heir, that divine right suddenly stretched south. The English people, who had dreaded a bloody succession crisis, breathed a sigh of relief. As James journeyed to London, crowds cheered. He wasn't a foreign conqueror. He was their savior of stability. But England was a far more complex and dangerous kingdom than Scotland. The nobles were richer, Parliament was stronger, and the religious tensions were a powder keg waiting for a spark. And in the shadows, men were plotting to greet their new king, not with cheers, but with fire. The year was 1605. A group of English Catholics, pushed to the edge by harsh laws, hatched a terrifying plan. They would blow up the Houses of Parliament during the state opening, wiping out the king, his family, and the entire English government in a single fiery blast. Deep in the cellars beneath the palace, they stashed 36 barrels of gunpowder. The man chosen to light the fuse was a quiet, determined soldier named Fawkes. But the entire plot unraveled because of a single anonymous letter sent to warn a friend to stay away from Parliament. Royal agents stormed the cellars and found Fawkes guarding the explosives. After days of brutal torture, he confessed everything. When James learned how close he had come to being annihilated, he went pale and whispered, "They would have destroyed the whole kingdom." The Gunpowder Plot forever changed him, turning a hopeful unifier into a king haunted by the constant fear of assassination. Despite the trauma, James held on to a grand vision, uniting England and Scotland into a single nation called Great Britain. The English nobles hated the idea, but James pushed forward. He was a peacemaker, ending the long and costly war with Spain, and he commissioned a project that would outlive all his political struggles: the King James Bible of 1611. This translation was not just a religious text. It was a literary masterpiece that shaped the English language and is still read across the globe today. Yet controversy followed him. His court was famous for its wild extravagance, and rumors flew about the immense power wielded by his handsome young favorites. He constantly battled with Parliament over money and authority, finding himself in political storms he couldn't control. His early obsession with witchcraft followed him to England. He personally supervised witch trials, convinced that dark magic was a real threat to his crown. But over time, something shifted in him. Perhaps he saw too many innocent people suffer, or maybe his scholarly mind began to question the hysteria. By the end of his reign, he actively discouraged the very witch hunts he had once promoted, a strange but telling contradiction for a king, caught between old-world superstition and the dawn of a new era of thought. By 1625, James was an old, tired man. Europe was descending into the chaos of the 30 Years' War. His brilliant eldest son and heir, Prince Henry, had died tragically young. His throne would pass to his younger son Charles. a decision that would ultimately plunge England into a devastating civil war. On a cold March day, James I died quietly in his chambers. There was no grand final speech, no heroic farewell, just the peaceful end of a king who had spent his life navigating a treacherous world of plots, power, and faith. He left behind a legacy as brilliant and conflicted as the man himself, a scholar king who gave the world a Bible, but who could never escape the shadows that haunted his crown. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from history.